You're listening to The Lowdown Show.
The house that AJ Styles built.
Your Raw and Smackdown live review and discussion show.
Drink it in, man.
Right here on the No Holds Barred Network.
You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick your sorry ass out on the street. Say what you got. You used to think you owned the street. We're back to back to your ass is dead. Victory is sweet.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? And welcome to the debut episode of the newly revamped Lowdown Show, your WWE Raw and Smackdown live review and discussion show, right here on the No Holds Barred Network. Your source for all WWE, NXT, and all UK coverage. You can listen to us live every Thursday, well, except for this week, Wednesday, on Spreaker. You can download the free app on all Android and Apple devices. We're also available on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and SoundCloud, so check us out wherever it's convenient for you to listen. And for all network updates, please follow us on Twitter at NHB Network, as well as follow the show on Twitter at The Lowdown Show. You can also follow at The Lowdown Show UK and The Next as well. Those are the other two shows that we will be doing. And I am your host, the self-proclaimed... Oh, wait, that's somebody else. I guess I'm not the self-proclaimed greatest host. I'm better than that. I'm making my return to No Holds Barred podcast. I am Mr. Corporate himself, Corporate Cappy, and I will be joined by two co-hosts on this show. First, we'll start with the guy who's been on the show lately. We've got the main roster Maharaja, Bryan. What's going on, Bryan?
What's up, guys? I'm excited to be here, called up from hanging out with those two jabrones down there in the minor league. The big dog is here to claim his yard on the main show.
The big dog, eh?
Yes, sir. The main event, big dog, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, right?
Still better. It's still better than hanging out with the NXT rookies down there. So glad to be here, guys.
Glad to come over in the Superstar Shakeup, whatever the hell they were calling it. So you can follow Bryan at HeelTurn21. And last but not least, this is gonna bring a shakeup to the podcast. That's for sure. He is the natural born heel and whatever else he wants to call himself, making his co-hosting podcast debut, as he's called in a few times, but now he's officially a co-host here on the No Holds Barred Network. Good friend of mine, Tyler Jones. What's going on?
Oh, Cappy, it's a mispleasure to hear your voice as always. Byron, it's good to meet you, man. I'm proud that you're called up. Calling yourself the big dog, you might need to go sit on the puppy pad and learn from the master here for a little while, but you'll get there.
Maybe the master will get my name right. It's Bryan, not Byron. Botch number one from the jabron.
Sorry.
Here we go.
I kind of think that was on purpose. I think he's calling you the Byron Saxton of this three-man commentary team.
Oh, wow. As long as I'm not the Jonathan Coachman and just get the boot night one.
If you want to be Renee Young, then you can do that too. So, anyways, this is going to be the lowdown for the Lowdown Show this week. What we're going to do is we're going to go over Raw and SmackDown. We're not going to cover every single crappy segment that happened on Raw because I don't want to talk about that. So
you already know how bad some of it is. We don't need to preach on it. We're gonna spread some positive vibes to you gremlins out there.
Some positive vibes to you gremlins, eh? Or sheep, if you want to call them that. But I don't think we should call our viewers sheep. Anyways, so we're gonna do that, and then we also got a segment that's called How to Book, but we're not gonna do that this week. We're gonna start that after Hell in a Cell happens this Sunday, and we're gonna start on how we would book the next month up until who knows what. We got Evolution, we got Greatest Royal Rumble, we got Survivor Series, who fucking knows. But anyways, we're gonna...
Greatest Royal Rumble?
Sorry, the whatever it's called, Super Showdown, the other terrible event. It was just as bad. It's gonna be just as bad as Greatest Royal Rumble. So we're gonna, go over how we would want a fantasy book. Well, not even fantasy, but reality. We're in the reality era here. We're gonna say what, instead of these dummies in the creative room, how we would book the next month leading up to the next pay-per-view coming out of Hell in a Cell. And then
we
the
are
other
not sitcom writers, guys. We do not write sitcoms, so we are not going for shitty comedy.
Absolutely not. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to do a new segment called This Day or Week in Wrestling History. I know Tyler Jones, or, what do you want me to call you on the show? You want me to call you something on the show? You got to have some kind of nickname here.
You could just call me Jim Cornette Jr. if you want.
Okay,
No,
Cornette Jr.
You know what? You could just call me Ty, man. I'm cool with my real name here.
Okay.
I'm not gonna kayfabe everybody here.
Okay, so Ty's going to take the lead with the This Week in Wrestling History segment. I know he's really excited about
I look forward to giving you
doing
guys
that.
a nice little history lesson every week. Professor Jones here.
Ty loves his old school wrestling, Smoky Mountain 80s wrestling. He loves that kind of stuff.
It was in the 90s, mid-90s.
Well, either way, I don't watch mediocre wrestling, which is why I don't watch NXT.
Oh, God.
That was a joke, by the way. I watch both. Anyways, so Ty's going to take the lead with the This Week in Wrestling History, and then we're also going to bring back a great segment from the past that when Kyle Masters and myself used to do the podcast. We're bringing back the list of 10. So for you people out there who enjoyed that segment.
Did you say great? Who came up with that first? You or Kyle?
I don't know. We'll have to go back to the vault for that.
I'm going to say Kyle, bad idea. You, great idea, Brandon. Cappy, great idea. Great idea.
Starting with the brand wars already. Under siege, I guess. But
the new Monday Night Wars here. We're NWO and that ass.
Yeah. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to pick one moment that makes the list for us this week, a moment that we thought was absolutely terrible, and a perfect 10 moment for a moment that we thought was the best moment of the week or one of the best moments of the week. And you could give 2 lists or 2 10s if you wanted to. I really don't care. So that's how it's going to break down. So before we start the show, is there anything else you guys want to say before we get into this glorious Monday Night Raw review?
No, can we just skip to the old school stuff and go back to the better days, please? 'Cause holy crap.
Oh, there was yeah, okay, it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle's in the chat. I am Vince McMahon of this network. Watch your asses. Yeah, okay, Kevin, done.
I will not be kissing Vince McMahon's ass. Cappy can take that role. He loves Trish. That's his job.
Oh my God! All right, well that's enough out of that. So we got.
If Kyle's Vince, then Cappy's gonna be Eric Bischoff. So let's go. Let's team NWO here.
I mean, I'm okay with that. I met my boy Bischoff. So anyways, before we start, we'll give a shout out to the people in the chat, you fellow sheep, corporate sellouts out there. We got Datila, we got Tiffany, we got Cupid Girl, the usuals, and Kyle from the B show, or the B team over there on the Lowdown Show NXT review.
So basically what you're saying is, as the club would say, it's a bunch of nerds!
Very much so. All right, so Monday Night Raw review, guys. And I'm sorry, I had to play the crickets soundbite.
It's like what? It's like
So that was what I thought of Monday Night Raw's Go Home show this week. Ty, you're gonna have to fill me in because I missed parts of the show, and Bryan, if you watched it, I don't know if you watched the whole thing, but I missed parts of it. So
what a great host.
Sorry. Do you blame me for not watching this entire show from start to finish?
I mean, I didn't watch the first hour of Raw, so I can't say anything.
So
I missed the whole show. Tried to watch it. Saw a Nikki Bella match, and I was like, all right.
Oh
I'm out.
yeah,
I'm done.
I did watch that on the highlights. God, man, she's still just as bad as she was ever.
All right, speaking of something just as bad, Roman Reigns gains violent revenge on Braun Strowman to open the show.
So what? Why does Braun need all this backup when he's literally the biggest, strongest guy in the world of professional sports entertainment? Why does he need these cronies? I'm so confused.
And did I see Drake Maverick out there? Like, what the hell is that guy?
What's up? We'll get into that later when we actually have to. We won't talk about their match, but yeah, what is up with this whole deal? I don't get it.
I just don't understand how you can build Braun Strowman as this monster among men and he can just go destroying everybody, but then he needs Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, and 15 other heels on the Monday Night Raw roster to take down 3 guys.
And you
can
throw
flip-
throw up 3 axe handles, and we can beat all 20 of them now. Like what? They weren't. And then when they dropped the axe handles of the promo, they just like all bumbled around like they were like 2 pieces of 2x4s. Thank God, guys, you can't get some better wood than this even.
And then Roman's over there swinging axe handles around with the Connor's Cure patch on his vest. Good job, Roman. Good job.
So what do they call it? Superstar like.
Be
Yeah.
a star.
And this whole Shield thing, I just have a big issue with it because the fact that Seth Rollins is doing some of the best work he's ever done in his career, and you halt that to have him come back with the Shield and Dean Ambrose, who for whatever reason didn't turn on Seth. I don't know why he didn't do that, but you have them come back and just to put Roman over, you put them together to try to get Roman the babyface pop. I just think it's been a huge failure. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah, I mean, Raw is nothing but an attempt to put Roman over, and nothing else is advancing or is even interesting. So we're gonna have a failed cash in at Money in the Bank just to get Roman over. And now they're bringing Mick Foley into the mix, so they gotta have Mick Foley raise his hand. So nobody's gonna boo Mick Foley, right? Yeah. Good luck with that.
well, Ty's boy is
Yeah.
Mick Foley, so I don't know how he feels about that.
As big of a heel as I am, I do love Mick Foley, but
They booed The Rock holding up Roman's hand. They're gonna boo.
no, I mean they're 100%. I mean, like you're right. They're gearing everything towards trying to build Roman up, and I just really it doesn't make a whole lot of sense right
I'm
now.
just
I mean,
getting
you
sick and
literally
tired of
just stopped
seeing him.
Seth. He had some unbelievable momentum. Dean came in looking like a badass heel. You dropped the ball on that. I don't get it.
Nope.
Yeah. The IC title. What the hell happened to that?
Yeah, now they're going for the. So what does he drop it? Is it gone? Is it disappear?
Are the Shield going to hold every title on Monday Night Raw? Is Roman going to go after the Raw Women's title after this?
Yeah, give him the women's title. Give him the women's tag team titles at Evolution.
He can feud against that Shayna Baszler guy. Well, she
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
have a title anymore.
You know what? I bet you if Shayna Baszler was out there, they, axe handles and all, they would still get their ass whipped by that guy.
Oh hell yeah!
So, does anyone else have anything to say about this Braun and Roman thing before we move on?
On to the next thing.
All right, perfect. All right. Now, the Shield evades arrest by outsmarting Baron Corbin. So the Shield got taken out. They got arrested. Put in the back of a paddy wagon. You know, they were all handcuffed up. And they come back at the end of the show. Like, you're telling me they got out of jail in 2 hours?
That was last week's show, but yeah.
And they took the car.
That was stupid.
Yeah, and they stole the car.
And they stole the car.
Yeah.
No,
That's on Labor Day where all the courts are closed.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
And you had Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler saying he feasts on the bloody carcass of the Shield after last week's attack.
Oh gosh.
And he added that Reigns has his Hounds of Justice, but Strowman has my Dogs of War. Oh,
No, I think that's what we're gonna call ourselves, guys. We're the dogs of war. Coming after that
We
NXT
would probably make it
showdown
better
there.
than all that.
well,
Than all they're doing.
we need Nakamura in the feud then if we're
I
talking
just-
about people going against dogs.
I'm just really super confused about this whole booking. Is just it's like they wrote it down super fast, threw all these things in a bucket, and just all threw it together. It was like, okay, now we got a thing to go with. Because Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler came out of nowhere. That came out of nowhere. Now they're winning belts in the middle of a damn Raw.
Can we all
No
agree?
build-up.
Can we all agree that Authors of Pain should have went with Braun Strowman if they were really going to give him a stable?
Yes.
Yes.
You give him instead. You give them
Logical
Drake
sense.
Maverick because that made sense. Instead of he was a 205 Live GM. Now all of a sudden he's the AOP's mouthpiece.
And then,
So what are they?
Why-
Are they trying to be Dudley's 2.0 with Spike Dudley there? I don't. What is Spud McKenzie coming out of retirement? Come
And
on,
I
man.
get-
This is just.
I get that Maverick's trying to match with them, but does he have to wear their size T-shirts? Like he can't even get the right size. He has to wear like their stuff.
I think
Instead
that
of
was more
making
awkward.
kids.
I think that was more awkward than when Roddy Strong was part of the AOP.
Yeah.
Anyways, we had the title match. I think it was the rematch between the B team and McIntyre and Ziggler.
Yep.
And obviously Ziggler and McIntyre won because the B team's a joke. and they're holding
I
back
hear you.
teams like the Revival, who are the best tag team in the world that doesn't get any time for anything.
100% agree.
We're the top guys, damn it. Hashtag too sour.
I just feel so bad for those two. And you know, the B team at first, it was kind of like, okay, this is funny. This is kind of good for the tag division. Have a little comical humor. And they came out to a legit song. And then they changed it to that stupid chant song bull crap.
Sing-along crap.
Sing along. And it's like, okay, you've turned this into a circus sideshow now. Like, Bo Dallas was a hell of a wrestler on NXT, a hell of a champion. Great person. Yeah, Curtis Axel, okay, I wrote whatever. But every tag team needs its, its strengths and its weaknesses. And I honestly, I wasn't that mad about them. Then they won the tag title out of nowhere. And ever since then, it's just been no storylines after no storylines after no storylines for this tag division. It sucks.
As much as the B team was a comedy act, I think I'd still prefer that over them dropping it to Ziggler and McIntyre, just to drop it to the Shield, just to have the Shield holding up all the belts at the end of Hell in a Cell. It's like you're still doing all of this just to get Roman over.
100%.
I can't argue that.
Just give me the B team. Give me the B team, please.
Or just give me the Revival, the team that actually deserves to have the tag team titles, and that could actually make those belts worth something.
You know what? If I can quote some of Kyle's indie darlings, fuck the Revival. How about that?
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
all right.
That wasn't very nice.
You got Perry Saturn 2.0.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Johnny Nobody over there on that.
Johnny Nobody.
Those two guys are the fucking best tag team wrestlers on the planet right now that don't do all this flippy whippy spot show. Let's do every move in the possible world. And it's the reason why Revival won't get pushed, because they won't do that crap.
No flips, just fists. Doesn't get over.
Yes.
Totally agree. I'm messing around. They are great, but nobody is better than the B team.
Go.
B team strong. You're chatting out of the way. So.
You're right.
All right, so next we're going to move on to a segment. Ty, I know you have something to say about this. Kevin Owens explains his barbaric actions. First of all, why is Kevin Owens back after he quit 2 weeks ago? I know you have something to say about this.
Oh, that was it's just bad. Again, bad booking. It's like they wanted to do something, change their mind midday. It's just, they're throwing stuff together. And, I love KO, obviously. And it's good to see him on TV. And now with him going against Bobby Lashley, maybe now, this can actually be an okay storyline, I feel like, because there's some personal thrown into it with the Sami Zayn injury and them being buddies and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, this whole quitting and then showing up literally the next week with the job crew for Braun to beat the crap out of the Shield. It's like, you quit. Why would you come and help anybody?
I missed it. Was there any explanation for it at all?
No.
We just got a call. Hey, come back. All right.
He basically said that what's his nuts, terrible, awful at everything, Baron Corbin. That's why he has to do an off-camera or an on-camera role that's not a wrestling role. He's terrible. But I guess Kevin Owens was basically saying that he called him and just begged him to come back.
Wow.
Like, oh my God.
Wow. that's riveting. That's freaking riveting.
Just great. I mean, how long did that take him to come up with?
Yeah.
You couldn't have came up with anything better. Maybe KO comes back at Hell in a Cell and fucks somebody over at least. No, you just have him, beg Baron Corbin for his job back.
You know what? And then if they're gonna go with this whole KO's coming back for Lashley because he injured his friend, let's get a little creative here. And how about you have KO come back as El Generico, like a fat El Generico, just to throw things, just to like, I mean, why not? Like, you know what? You took out Sami Zayn, but El Generico's back for you. Like, why not? Why not? No. I got a text from Corbin. I gotta go back to work, guys.
About the match, he did have a pretty decent little match with Tyler Breeze. Well, it wasn't a match. What is it about them not starting matches? They won't ring the bell. Like what? Like back in the day, or even in the 90s or the early 2000s, I remember them ringing the bells as soon as the guys got in and they started to fight. Like Breeze threw a kick. KO, he did come out and beat the crap out of him at first, but Breeze got in the ring. He threw a kick. I'm like, all right, ring the bell. There's a match. and they don't do it anymore. It's like, what's the point in doing this if we're not even gonna record this stuff? What's the point in having rules if we just ignore them completely?
Let's start with them learning how to cash in a briefcase when someone says I'm cashing in, and then we'll move on to ringing a bell when the
Okay, that too. But again, I mean, in the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That they did that then too. We're gonna stare off here for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. We're not gonna ring the bell though. Like what?
Mm-hmm.
So we had that segment. Tyler Breeze, I guess he got punished for being on NXT, so he didn't even get to have a match on Raw. What else happened on Raw this week? We had Nikki Bella defeating Ruby Riott. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
Not talking about that.
Wait, let me talk. Hold on. Let me.
Oh, okay.
really quick. I don't want to talk about the match itself. So the whole basis of this match was that the Riot Squad vandalized or terrorized their locker room.
What?
It was like
Why do the Bellas have their own locker room?
Number one, okay, they have their own locker room. Okay, all they did was do like 2 little pieces of graffiti on the wall. How is that? Why would the Bellas care? It's not their fucking house. Like,
They're leaving that night.
I'm leaving in about 45 minutes. I don't give a shit. You can draw dicks
You
on this wall.
disrespected us.
Okay, I'm going home now. I'm not paying for this, right? So
They didn't even ruffle around their luggage or anything like that.
no, if they're gonna say that the Riot Squad rampaged their room, I want to see them come out with like their duffel bag full of dildos, like throwing it into the crowd.
Yeah,
like,
we'll have another wholesale like Crime Time did for Lita. We'll have a wholesale.
Exactly. You know, you can have some of Nikki Bella's fake pair of tits, like an extra pair in the bag.
Oh no.
Brie Bella's baby.
Oh God, we'll have Gene Snitsky come out and kick it into the crowd.
There you go. We're already more creative. This is easy stuff.
So
we have the return of Fat Al Generico and Snitsky kicking a baby into the crowd. I like it.
Wait till the guest booking segment next week, folks.
Oh my God. So yeah, Nikki hit the Rack Attack 2.0 since she can't use the original Rack Attack. And got the win over Ruby Riott because, Nikki Bella really needed to bury Ruby Riott.
And what's the point? Also, what else is okay? So the Riot Squad interferes at every match except this one. I'm not just don't get it.
There's 3 of them and 2 of them.
There's 2 of them, and technically Bree's not even wrestling on Raw right now. So what's the point?
Yeah.
They should just bring Alicia Fox back and have her as the 3rd member of Team Bella again.
No, she's riding with your girl and Mickey James right now, man.
Trying to beat up Ronda
Rousey. We had AOP defeats. Oh my God, we had the enhancement talents of of Nathan Bradley. Remember these names: Nathan Bradley and Ronnie Ace.
They'll probably be NXT champion in a couple months.
There are no Riley Apex and whatever the hell Chris Starr, but they're okay. So we have AOP, because they haven't been just squashing enhancement talents for the last 2 months. We have to have them do it now because adding Drake Maverick to it is going to just add so much more to them beating the enhancement talent.
And he's such a much better talker I don't get it. Like what? Awful.
He's supposed to be a heel here, and then on 205 Live, like they don't even mention AOP. Like, hey, aren't you the manager? Nope, never happened.
Like, is he still gonna be the 205 Live GM? Because I've seen like Matt Hardy doing some kind of teasing on Twitter that he's like coming to 205 since he can't wrestle anymore. But I don't know if that's true or not.
Maybe he's gonna throw Maverick in the lake of reincarnation. He comes back as an AOP member. I think
he's gonna come back as Rockstar Spud.
That would be awesome.
Whatever they're doing now.
That would be awesome.
Okay, now moving on to something that was decent on Raw, and I can't believe I'm saying this is decent, but the fact that everything else on the show has been pretty shit, and you can say they've done this match so many times, we've seen it in the past, but you gotta admit that the build for this match is probably better than 3/4 of the builds that they're doing right now. We had Triple H responding to The Undertaker for their match at Super Showdown.
No, I thought this was a really good promo, actually. It's pretty sad that 2 guys who aren't on the program on a weekly basis and cutting promos and doing things on a weekly, nightly basis are outrunning the competition. I mean, obviously it's Undertaker and Triple H, so they probably should be, but it's pretty impressive, and the promos they're cutting are pretty good, pretty raw. So I've been pretty happy with it, and everything's gone, I think, to what they want to so far, and fans, I think are actually getting pretty hype about this match, even though it's two geriatrics going at it.
And they're pretty much catering to the casuals, right? The people that don't really know the product, that are going to buy the tickets in Australia.
That or even to get maybe people to even just try WWE Network, the people that used to watch, hey, Undertaker and Triple H are going to have another match. Hey, maybe you want to watch this. Maybe you don't like the current product, but you might want to watch this because you used to like it. Something like that. I don't blame them for going this route. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, your average Joe in Australia doesn't know who Finn Balor is, but if you put the Undertaker and Triple H on a poster, it's gonna put some asses.
It's gonna sell.
Yeah, it is. I mean, as much as times as they've come back into the cookie jar, I mean, it does sell. You can't say that it doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
The only thing I have an issue with is, oh my god, I saw a rumored leaked picture, and I hope to God this is not true, but apparently we're going to have a Greatest Survivor Series, okay? And we're going to have...
I hate rumor leaks. Just don't tell me about this stuff till it's going to happen.
And there's a reported tag team match. I don't even know if I want to say it.
If Hulk Hogan's involved.
I think I saw this.
It's rumored, okay, and this is rumor mill, but if it does happen, I would not be shocked with the amount of times they go back into the cookie jar sometimes. Triple H and Shawn Michaels versus the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane, in a tag team match.
That's impossible because Kane is a public servant and can no longer do any wrestling, so that cannot happen.
Thank God for that.
He's also running, I think, He is a
now.
Republican, so taking some Saudi money, I don't know if that'll work out too good for him.
So can we put this one to rest that Kane will not be in this tag team match?
I can see Undertaker maybe teaming up with one, just maybe taking them on both of them, a handicap match maybe. I don't
Triple
know,
threat. I don't know.
Maybe
Bray Wyatt.
But I know Shawn Michaels really doesn't want to
go
come
with the
out
current
of retirement.
against those guys who can't really do that much anymore, though. I don't know.
Triple H can still go, and then you got.
Yeah, no, I'm not
just do a couple sweet chin musics and give it a 6-minute solid match. I mean, that's what you need. Bray, you make Bray and Triple H carry the match. Why not?
I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I think Bray needs to get something different here, but
he's been teasing a stable at some
with
point.
Prince of Darkness and doing something with that. That would be really awesome.
So the only thing with Shawn Michaels is that I know he really is against going against his word with his whole retirement match, because that was it. He never wrestled again. So what do you think that if he wrestles again, what the fuck was the point of being his retirement match if he's actually going to come out of retirement and wrestle again?
Yeah, well, they do that all the time.
They all come back.
Wouldn't be the first. Yeah, wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last time.
I know.
Terry Funk had about 6 or 7 last matches. So I mean,
I think
the
only guys that have lived by that are Stone Cold and Ric Flair were the only two that I recall that actually have stuck to that.
Ric Flair retired 4 times. I think
he
retired in TNA once too.
No, but the match against Shawn Michaels was his last match, though.
Yeah, he is 175 years old too. So,
so anyways,
don't talk about my hero like that.
So anyways, Bryan,
he's a national hero.
Bryan, do you have anything to say about this Triple H and Undertaker build promo leading up to this Super Showdown match?
No, I mean, pretty much echoes what I said last week about the Triple H and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels promo. You literally get caught up in these guys' promo, and it gives you that old school feeling that you forget that wrestling can do that, and then it's followed up by the other hour and a half of Raw, and you're like,
yeah,
wow, this stuff sucks.
It kind of brings you back to when this feud was actually going on for a little while. It makes you gives you a flashback.
Yeah, and what's sad is these guys, this creative team is sitting here watching these guys cut these promos. Why are you not talk to them, learn from them? As much as I hate Shawn Michaels, the man is a fucking genius. He's a genius, and he's really good at wrestling IQ. You know what I'm saying? And he learn from him, learn from Taker, learn from Triple H. They're all there.
And they didn't give these guys not one script, maybe a couple bullet points.
No,
but these guys just went out there and did their thing.
Because you know damn well that those guys never really ran off of a script. You gave them the key bullet points you wanted them to get over, and they went out and did their stuff, and because they're good at it, because that's what wrestling's supposed to be. It's supposed to come from the heart.
And as much as people hate it, and we said it earlier, and why do you have to bring back the old timers, and they're taking the spot from the new guys? It's like, this is why the new guys can't do this, and these old guys are gonna put asses in seats, and until they can do it, until the new guys can do it, there's no one else to blame but themselves.
I agree. They don't want to build their own new megastars, except for Roman Reigns, which doesn't work.
Yeah, and he can't do a promo like that. So where do we go from here? Bring back McFoley, damn it.
Okay, well,
God, he would never.
We'll move on to the next segment, which made no sense. It was Bobby Lashley in a backstage promo with Lio Rush for whatever, because, Lio Rush is on Monday Night Raw all of a sudden as this, wannabe manager for Bobby Lashley.
I don't even have anything to say about that. It was so bad. I'm not on it yet.
Yeah, it was about 10 seconds long, and that's how long it deserves to be talked about. So we're going to move on to the next segment, which is Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, the new tag team, against the Ascension. And obviously Roode and Gable won.
I still don't know what to think about these guys. I love both of them, but I'm sorry. Bobby Roode should be a top 3 or 5 guy in this company. He is an absolute machine, one of the best wrestlers in the freaking world, and the man has a great promo, has a great character, has a great opening theme and a song. Why are they not capitalizing on this? They're ruining him, and he is at an older age. You need to he should have been at the top. He should have been at the top doing his NXT character with the suits and the acting like a big rich, big shot and all that great heel character. That was amazing. They should ride with that.
But according to Vince, he has to be a babyface with that theme, but yet, he was in NXT as a heel with that theme, so I don't know where he's getting that idea from.
No, I mean, that theme can go either way. I mean, sure, you can look at that theme as a babyface if he's a real babyface, but Bobby Roode is not a real babyface. He is a really good heel. And if you come out with that theme and you come out as arrogant, it's all about the way you come off. It's body language. It's facial expressions. It's the way you look down on the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
That. You know what I'm saying? That is the way he portrays it, as he is better than everyone. He is so glorious, so much better than everybody else. And that is heelish. It's the way you perceive it, how you play it off as the character.
The guy is so good. Ty, you know how much I love Roode. He's in my top 3.
I love him too. 100%. I love him too.
And it's not just because we love him, but he's the guy has everything that you could want from a top heel. He could definitely be the authorities guy if they really wanted to do, a heel, top guy in the authority again. He could be that guy. But
as much as I don't like authority angles, for sure, that could be a way you could go. 100%.
Bryan, what do you have to say about Bobby Roode and Chad Gable?
Well, I watched Raw on Tuesday during work. I just had it on in the background. Once I saw this match was up next, I said, well, this is about the time I go to Taco Bell and get my $5 box because I can really give a crap about this match.
Chad Gable, he's a good wrestler, but he's not going to be a singles guy. He needs to be in a tag team, but does Bobby Roode and Chad Gable really make any sense at all?
I mean, I guess they're setting up the heel turn, right? He's got to turn heel and beat up Gable, right?
I guess.
I mean, that would be ideal, but is that the way they're going to go? I don't know.
Who the hell would care of Bobby Roode turning on Chad Gable? You would have Bobby Roode, friend up a top babyface, not a jobber. Nobody's going to care that he turns on Chad Gable, realistically. They would care more if he turned on somebody, that was credible and of status on a show right now. If he turns on Chad Gable, who cares?
I mean, who cares if they're together, so...
Right.
I agree. I want better for Bobby Roode. I think we can all agree on that.
No, same here. It's not what he should be doing.
The Ascension too. They were a legendary NXT tag team who have now become the jobber team on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, that's also sad because I really liked them in NXT too. They were really good.
Who's falling off harder, the Ascension or AOP?
At least AOP hasn't lost yet.
Yeah, I guess AOP still has room to go up or down. So
yeah, they're going down. There is no up.
I mean, they're gonna go down, but they still have the potential because of their youth right now. But Yeah, it's Ascension. It's probably over for them because of the way they've been buried over the years.
Next, we're going to move on to the classic and weekly women's tag team match on Monday Night Raw. We can't have a Monday Night Raw without a women's tag match, apparently. We got Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion, and Natalya versus Mickie James and Alexa Bliss.
What are your thoughts on this, Cappy? Because you're the women's wrestling expert here. So I want to hear what your thoughts are. You aren't giving your thoughts.
I don't really have any thoughts on this match. I don't care. I don't care about women's tag team matches every single week on this show.
Also, how does this build the feud between Sasha and Alexa?
Ronda and Alexa.
They beat her in a tag match. Woohoo!
Okay, so the ending of this match was Rousey and Natalya kicked the shit out of Mickie James, and Alexa Bliss kind of just sat there and watched it. And then at the end, Ronda Rousey got her hand raised, and then Alexa Bliss kicked her in the stomach, and then ran away.
I mean, Alexa's playing a good chicken shit heel. I love that part.
This is the baddest woman in the world getting kicked in the ribs by a 5-foot midget, and she's gonna go cry in the back about it.
Yep.
That's what I don't understand. Ronda Rousey does not need to be this smile, this Finn Balor, Smiley Finn 2.0 over here. She needs to come out there and just be Ronda Rousey and just not I understand she's the babyface, but she doesn't need to come out smiling every week.
I was so excited about her joining. I was like, you know what? It's gonna help with the mainstream stuff. Hopefully they put a little bit more emphasis on the women because of her. And her character is just destroyed already. Why would, like I just said, why would Ronda Rousey, former UFC fighter, baddest woman on the planet, even feel anything from a 5-foot cheerleader? That's what she is. She's not a boxer. She's not. How would that affect Ronda at all? Going off that point, why is Ronda Rousey friends with the Bella Twins? Aren't the Bella Twins everything that Ronda Rousey does not want to be as a woman's fighter?
You would think that.
Not a fucking reality show wannabe.
Ronda does movies and does reality. I don't know.
But she is a badass, legitimate fighter. She doesn't need that stuff. She doesn't need to be associating herself with the Bella Twins. And I don't know if this is going to turn into that rumored Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey match that we keep hearing. I haven't seen anything of that yet. Either way, that match is going to suck ass, because you can't try to tell me that Nikki Bella is credible at all to go up against Ronda Rousey in any shape or form.
Who in the locker room is credible besides Nia Jax? And they ruined that.
Really, no one.
I mean, Ronda
honestly,
should be
I'm
undefeated.
Waiting for Shayna. Shayna and Ronda will be awesome, and they should let them just go.
But they're gonna be together for a year. The 4 horse women and one. Three horse women and one man in that group.
As much as you call her a man, she is awesome. Shayna is a beast, but I think it would be a great thing, when that comes to be fruition with the 4 horsewomen of the MMA. And then, 2 of them turn on whatever, etc. Could do, the 4 horsemen deal like they did with Mr. Perfect. All that different stuff. So it's very, very feasible, and I think that would be cool. But what they're doing right now is just makes zero sense.
Yeah, and going off what we just said about Ronda, let's just say they do the 4 horsewomen of UFC. Who's going to beat them?
Yeah. The 4 horsewomen of WWE. You've got Charlotte and Becky's friendship in shambles.
But, I mean, even if they were all best friends making out together, how are any of them really going to put up a fight against the 4 horsemen of the UFC?
No, and they shouldn't.
Well, I mean, Sasha is the best out of all 8 of them, but I'm not going to go there.
First off, she's not a better wrestler than Charlotte or Bayley. There's no way you can tell me that.
That is very much debatable that we will not debate today on this show.
Sasha's so good. She didn't make Raw, but the 2 jobbers against AOP did. So.
All right, I think you know what, Bryan, that's better. And I thought you were going to bring up something about her crying, which you do every other week. So I'm good with you changed it up a little bit. Anyways, the end of this tag match, I don't care about this Ronda and Alexa rematch. As much as I love Alexa Bliss, but does anybody really think that she's going to even have a chance in this match?
Does anybody care?
No.
Probably no and no. So unfortunately, as much as I like the women's division, I have to move on from this. I can't talk about it anymore. There's just nothing good for me to say about this right now.
Well, actually, I got something to say about the whole women's thing right now. They're just forcing it, and I'm totally cool with, because I'm obviously a raging liberal, so I'm totally fine with them, with the women's rise coming up in wrestling and everything. I'm not a fan of mixed tags. That will never be realistic to me at all. Or I mean, not mixed tags, intergender matches makes zero sense. But in terms of it just seems like WWE is trying to force this stuff with Renee Young being the commentator. I'm sorry, she doesn't know wrestling. How can you be a wrestling commentator when you don't know wrestling? She's a great in-arena host and an interviewer and etc. She doesn't know wrestling. How could she be a wrestling personality? She doesn't know wrestling. She can't name the hold. She can't do, I love her as other things, but they could have a better woman there. You could have Beth Phoenix there. You could have Trish Stratus or Lita there to do that job. There's many people that could handle and be that first women commentator. And then this whole pay-per-view, they're just forcing it. And it's almost like they're not even being genuine about the way they want the women's growth to go, which is what we all want, because we're all three of us, I think, are fans of women's wrestling. It's just the fact that they're trying so hard that it makes them look like they don't care.
And
because they're just forcing it to get the ratings.
And just to kind of touch on this, I'm not a raging liberal, I'm just a raging a-hole, but the problem with this whole women's evolution thing is that they're telling us instead of showing us. They're telling us, oh, look how great this is. Look how much we're doing for the women. Look how good the women are compared to the men. Look how equal they are. But you don't see a woman going through a table. There's no women's Hell in a Cell match this year. There's no women main events. There's no, I'd rather them do it naturally, where you put them in a match and let them go, and show us how good they are. Show us that you are, moving forward with women's wrestling. Because don't get me wrong, like you said, we're all fans of women's wrestling, and it's funny because I kind of saw this when I was watching the Becky and Charlotte match. I was like, I remember a women's match would come on, and it was literally the restroom break, and I was sitting there watching the Charlotte match, and I was like, this is okay, it's nothing great, it's okay. So it's come a long way.
Oh yeah.
But there's still just it's being forced instead of just letting it happen naturally.
Yep.
If the match is going to be better, then it deserves to be front and center, not just because of their gender.
Yeah. Exactly. It should be the best match on the card. Don't just tell us it's the main event because it's women and we're doing it for the women's evolution. No. If you want to be treated equally, then you should have the best match on the card. That's it. I mean, guy, girl, dog, whatever you want to be. If you have the best match on the card, you are the main event.
And the only time I can ever think of that happening was the Bayley-Sasha NXT Brooklyn match.
Exactly.
And they put on a show, and they put on the best match.
And it was the best match of the night. One of the best matches of the year.
I agree, but since then, realistically, what women's match can you sit back and say, deserve to be a main event or main event a pay-per-view?
None. And when they did the whole
one-on-one, no, but I mean, honestly, the best match on WrestleMania this year was the Triple H and Stephanie versus Ronda and Kurt.
It was.
Yeah, that was the best match.
Mm-hmm. And even when they try to do the whole, we're giving the women all the gimmick matches, the Hell in a Cell, the Money in the Bank, they all fell flat. Name one good one.
Yeah, none of them were. And then hell, the fact that they let a guy basically win their first one did not help them either.
Yeah.
Well, Ellsworth equals ratings, but we're not going to go there for now. So we're gonna. So we had another pointless Finn Balor interrupting Elias segment. Okay, sorry, it wasn't Finn Balor interrupting Elias. It was Mick Foley interrupted Elias. But
it's the same week. It's everything. Just put a different person in there.
But we're not going to talk about the Finn Balor Elias thing because that was just who cares? The only thing that matters here is the whole Mick Foley and Elias segment. So Ty, I'll let you have the reins of this since Mick Foley's your boy.
I mean, I'm really excited to have Mick as the referee. It just brings back a lot of memories about that match, and I've been I've watched probably that match 2 or 3 times this week just because it's one of my favorite matches of all time.
I will say, though, before you go, I appreciate the fact that they're trying to relive the 20th year of the original Hell in a Cell match with it being Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
But it wasn't even the original. There was like 4 Hell in a Cell matches before that one.
I know, but
right, there were matches, but there wasn't the pay-per-view, I think is what they're technically saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I think they're saying 20 years before that Hell in a Cell, which is technically classified as the best Hell in a Cell.
And I'm gonna say, I
maybe
thought,
what, Michaels and Taker.
that one, or
that was a good one.
Triple H Taker and with Michaels as the guest referee.
Yeah, that one I believe it was.
Yeah, but I will Foley's promo wasn't bad. Like he was getting good emotion out of the crowd and the viewers, you know.
And Foley is he's such a good promo, always has been, and he incites emotion in people because of the characters and the way he portrays everything. It's just another reason. Watch him, learn from him, pick his brain. He is a genius.
So, what do you have to think about him being the special guest referee in the Braun and Roman match?
Well, it's just like what they did at the last pay-per-view, having Braun standing out there. They're not dumb. Foley is strictly in there so this match doesn't get booed and people don't walk out.
I can see that too.
Or when Roman wins.
This one's had a little more build-up, at least, for a match. Not a good one, but a little bit. And I love Braun, and I wish they would have just waited a little bit longer on all this, and not did it this way. But no, I agree. I think they are. They're not dumb. They're just trying to make sure that people don't turn this thing off at the end. I'm 100% on with the board with that one.
And you know what? I think I would have felt a little bit better about the whole Roman project if Roman isn't that bad. He's not that bad in the ring, especially in these gimmick matches.
He's a decent wrestler. He's a decent wrestler.
Every time he's had a gimmick match, it's actually been one of the matches of the night. He's really, really good in the gimmick matches, which is what these two need.
He's good
in
a cell.
And this could have been one of those moments where, you know what, let them go at it, let them tear each other apart. Roman would have got a little bit more over because he is really good in these gimmick matches. You don't need to throw in Mick Foley and make you kind of roll your eyes like, oh, here we go again. Got to protect Roman from the boos. No, let him get booed. You know, he's going to come out, he's going to get booed. But by the end of the night, if he puts on one of the great gimmick matches that he can do, especially with someone like Braun, he's going to get naturally cheered. And that's how you do it. You just let it naturally occur.
Yep.
But no, they throw in Mick Foley, everyone rolls their eyes. Oh, here we go again. They got to protect Roman.
So does anybody have a rating for this show this week?
I'll give it a 1.5 Charlotte boobs.
The new ones or the old ones?
The new. Oh no, we're talking straight new ones.
Okay, because the old ones
are way better than the new ones.
No, the old ones were 1.5 boobs.
I meant her natural boobs, not her these fake ones she keeps getting.
Anyway, so you give it 1.5 out of 5. Ty, what do you give it this week?
2, 3. I don't know.
Well, Mick Foley was on the show, so that's got to be at least something for you.
I mean, sure, but that doesn't make me just go, oh my god, the show is so great.
I don't know. You are a pretty big Mick Foley mark out there. I don't know.
I am a Mick Foley mark. I love Mick. But
name a high spot from the show.
The Mick Foley promo wasn't even blew my socks off.
That and Triple H's promo. Honestly, that was it.
I mean, the Triple H promo was the same Triple H promo we've heard for 10 years.
I'm giving it a 1 out of 5 because it was basically unwatchable besides those 2 segments.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll give it 2, 2.5, 2, something like that.
Now, we're gonna move on to something that we can actually, have some good things to say about a show. We're gonna move on to Smackdown, which it does have some bad things. So it has some things that.
Oh, it had a horrible thing for me this week that I'm going to.
I'm just talking in general. In the last 2 months or so, SmackDown has been a lot better. It's actually a watchable show, unlike Raw for the most part.
It is.
It feels like SmackDown is trying. It at least feels like they're trying.
And if something doesn't work, they change it for the most part.
Exactly. And at least it feels like SmackDown has the balls to at least try something.
Yeah, like last week we didn't I want to touch base on last week. We had R-Truth in the main event. Like, that was different. Like, I loved
That
that.
was awesome. I loved that. It was amazing. It was
Like, it's something different. It's not fucking Roman Reigns and The Shield ending the show every single week.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to skip to it, so we'll wait till we get there. But just the whole Samoa Joe promo.
Oh, that's
Was
the
fucking
best.
Well,
thing
we
going on in
can
wrestling.
start with that. We'll start with the
It
Joe
was-
promo.
Let's start with that because
Yeah.
the first part of the
refreshing.
show sucked.
I literally saw that promo and I was like, that's awesome. Like,
Yeah, that vignette was amazing. Why are
They-
they not doing more vignettes?
can- like at the end of that promo, I was like, so they can do this. Like, it's in them. to do
Yeah.
it. And it was so simple. And you know what? I wanted to buy the fucking book.
Same.
I went on shop. I was like, dude, if this book is on shop, I'm buying it.
Yeah,
Like,
I do. Oh, man, I can't believe how much we're agreeing on things tonight. I totally agree with that. Like, that is the best thing on anything in the WWE right now going on. This feud is good. The storyline is good. It's got so much personal vendettas.
It's
and
a credible
it really makes
main
people-
event match.
It makes people think, oh my god, these guys might actually be fucking pissed at each other. And they're two legit badass wrestlers.
Yeah.
This
And
is
then
this is wrestling. This is the way modern wrestling should be portrayed and the way it should always be portrayed.
yeah. And on paper, you read, oh, Samoa Joe already, bedtime story about AJ Styles, and you're like, ah, fuck. But you watch that and you're like, this is awesome.
That's what I was saying. Like, they need to do more vignettes. Like, WWE has the greatest productions in like the world almost. I mean, they're a high quality production company essentially. And you're telling me that you used to do all these great vignettes of people coming in and these great build-ups for characters and for storylines and feuds, and now we have cell phone selfie promos? That's what we're getting? Like, get out of here with
And
this
then
crap.
I was mind blown because I'm like, okay, so the way they presented this vignette was a storybook coming to life, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, so it's a storybook coming to life of a story that was in real life. I was
Yep.
like, that's great. Like, they made actual footage coming back to life, if that makes any sense. Like, it was
Yeah,
just,
I got
it was
you.
great.
Well, I have to agree with that. I mean, I love Styles. Joe is a great heel. He's fucking amazing. Nighty Night AJ, like, it was.
Yes.
Huh.
I would buy that book. Slap $20 on it, and I'll buy it right now. Like, it was amazing.
It was good. It was super good, and this feud, you can ride this feud to WrestleMania in my eyes, and they could make it good. You could continue to make it good and go in different ways and different places with it. It's that good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then the wrestling, it's what's making this feud what's making this feud so good is the fact that we're getting the amazing promo, and we know we're gonna get an even better match.
Yep.
It's a combination of what's been missing, you know.
Oh, 100% agree. And you know what, guys? You notice how so far in this podcast, we haven't even really talked about the matches even, which I like because fans look too hard. Indie fans especially, and I like a certain amount of indies. I'm actually in the process of training to become a semi-professional wrestler, and I want to ride the indies and do all that. But there's so much stuff on the indies that people do that just makes me so super frustrated. And it's like, oh, I lost my train of thought there because I got on that promo.
It's the fundamentals. It's
Yeah, nobody.
You
has
remember the
fundamentals
moments. You don't
anymore.
remember. I've said this a million times on the show before. You remember moments. You don't remember matches.
Nope.
You remember HBK and Shawn Michaels and Taker in Hell in a Cell, but you don't remember the moves. You just remember that moment. You know what I mean?
Or the
Yeah,
Rock
I
and
can
Hulk
remember
stare
that.
down, you know?
Fans just look at at wrestling like, well, how great of a work rate are they, and how many high spots did they do, and how many finishers did they break out of, and that's how they classify whether or not somebody's a good wrestler or not. No, wrestling is half wrestling, half personality. That's
Yeah, and
literally
I've said it
wrestling,
before.
guys.
The Rock, Hogan, Austin, Warrior, some of the worst workers ever.
Yeah,
And
Warrior was awful.
and
Warrior's
they're-
he's probably one of the worst wrestlers in the history of wrestling, yet he was a
Exactly.
top money
But
maker.
if I put on an Ultimate Warrior face paint and walk into any mall, people
know
are gonna
who
say,
you-
"Holy crap, that's
That's
Ultimate
right.
Warrior."
Yeah.
Kyle puts in the chat they do both in the indies. They incorporate both in a lot, and they look at the storytelling in the match too. There's
But,
also the
okay,
outside
for
storytelling.
for certain indies, but you also have to think about it too. These guys are traveling to different places trying to make their money. It's not like in the territory days where all the places work together and built their feuds together. So therefore, I can wrestle here in this place and then go to another state and wrestle, and we're just having matches. So all fans can really look at is the matches. There is no real storylines. There is no real build-ups. There can be if you're staying with a certain territory. I hate calling it that nowadays because it's not. With a certain company for a certain amount of time, yeah, you can build storyline. Or if you're working with different companies, you can build storylines. But I'm sorry, you can't do that as well nowadays because people show up, they watch the matches, they go home, they come back to the next show, and it's all different storylines and all different matches. But it's all, or not even storylines, it's just different matches. So how am I supposed to portray or judge it on wrestling when all I can do is judge it on the matches? I mean, I get it, but it's stupid.
And we just had All In, and I'm gonna touch on it a little bit. Great matches all around. And okay, I mean, I wouldn't. People are calling it this world-changing thing. It was an okay show, but
yeah,
to the point we're making here is one of the biggest pops of the night and the biggest crowds and one of the biggest things people were talking about that night. Joey Ryan, horrible worker, horrible worker. No, it's funny, but it's true. A horrible worker. He flips people with his dick, but that was. People are still. That was on. I saw it on Yahoo. You know what I mean? The penis is coming out of the floor. You know people were chanting "rest in penis." Like people in that stadium pop big time.
Brian, before you go any further, I just want you to know that Ty's most hated person in all of professional wrestling is Joey Ryan.
I know. I love Joey Ryan because it's character work on the indies. No one's doing it. No one's doing it.
I agree with that 100% in that instance. It's character work, and he's doing it the right way. I also, I hate Sami Callihan with a passion, but he's doing it the right way too, being a prick and being a heel. My thing is they're doing it the wrong effing way. This is not wrestling. This is not the way wrestling's supposed to be portrayed. Joey Ryan has taken a shit on every person that built wrestling. From that protected this business, that did everything for this sport growing up in the 60s, 40s, 50s, etc. And he has taken a giant shit on it because he is flipping people with he is being the most unrealistic person in the world. Okay, character-wise, great. But I cannot stand the dick flip thing. That is just a giant slap in the face to anybody who ever worked in blood, sweat, and tears into this business.
And he's not a horrible worker, but he's not the best. He's doing the character work right. But how can you hate that, but love Mick Foley, whose biggest thing was a sock on his hand?
Because if you look at it,
I'm not comparing Joey Ryan. There's no way Joey Ryan.
No, no, you're comparing. But what I'm saying is, you're comparing the mandible claw to that. But okay, if you grab somebody like I saw Joey Ryan do something about Greco-Roman wrestling and they make fun of me, but I'm like, okay, there's a difference between ripping someone's dick off in a wrestling match to try to beat them and grabbing someone's dick and getting flipped by it. The mandible claw, when it was
over more than Mankind.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but Sacco and the mandible claw were a move that if you try it, if you have somebody fucking stick their two fingers down your throat, put it in a pressure point in between your the esophagus and your entrance to your mouth or the exit to your mouth or something like that, that shit will hurt you and you will be paralyzed and down to the ground and you will tap out eventually because you can't breathe and you can't do things with it. It is a legitimate move.
I
Flipping
get it.
Somebody with your dick is not a legitimate move.
I get it, but replace the mandible claw with Joey Ryan's dick, and the world explodes.
Okay,
I'm not disagreeing.
We'll move on from there.
We could have a whole show on this Joey Ryan conversation, but we're gonna move on.
Can we just, what? Let's meet in the middle. Let's put Mr. Sacco on Joey Ryan's dick, and everyone's happy.
I don't think Ty is happy whatsoever.
Never.
But yes, the Styles and Joe thing has been fantastic. It was a great lead up to their match at Hell in a Cell. And it's probably one of the only things that I've actually really enjoyed over the last month on the main roster. And not just because I'm a huge AJ Styles mark.
No, 100% agree. It's been really great.
Moving on to something else that was probably pretty good was the Becky Lynch gets creative with her ambush of Charlotte Flair this week.
What are you reading WWE's headlines or something? Like,
Yeah.
WrestleZone over here?
Yeah, you got to read the headlines.
Oh Lord. Nah, I'll tell you what. Becky is looking straight fire as a heel. Ooh, baby.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Jesus Christ! Give me
Other
heel
than that,
Becky
I
any day.
really am disappointed just because I really think that they missed the boat on Becky being the babyface in this one, and pushing Charlotte as a bigger heel. I know they've done it before, but I mean Becky is she's over and not as a heel.
And I talked about this earlier. If there's any two girls that could have used a Hell in a Cell match, it's this feud, and they wouldn't have even had to do much. Just them being in that cell and this is a blood feud. This could have been the next step for the women's evolution. Instead, I think we're just gonna get Becky losing again, and where does Charlotte go from here?
Charlotte goes to defeat Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, clearly.
To start the feud she goes on to beat her at this Evolution, then to wrestle.
Oh, Charlotte's got to
'Cause aren't
win
the
every
two
single
titles-
thing and break every single streak that ever happens in wrestling.
I mean,
Well,
Becky
yeah.
Becky has to win this, right? I mean, you can't. If Charlotte wins, you destroy Becky.
You have to capitalize on this Becky Lynch momentum. She's hotter than she's ever been on the main roster so far. Even when she had the title the first time, nobody really cared. This is
Exactly.
this is when you have to take that straight fire and fucking pour some more gasoline on it to make it go bigger right now. You don't put the water on it and, it's gone.
If you let Becky lose, then you just take all credibility away from this whole heel turn. This whole program is pointless.
The only way I could see Becky losing is if they did the double turn somehow. I don't know how they do it from here, but that would be the only way that I could
double
see
turn would be the best thing for them, because I think with Becky going back to it, because she's getting cheered every week. Every week she's getting cheered and Charlotte's getting crapped on.
The last time
Yeah,
we saw the double turn, it was the exact same thing. Del Rio was getting booed as the babyface. Ziggler was getting cheered as the heel that was going to cash in. And once it happened, they finally realized, you know what, we got the guys in the wrong spot. They turned Ziggler heel. They had they had Ziggler turn babyface by Del Rio turning heel and beating the shit out of him at that pay-per-view, winning back the world title. This could be the same type of thing.
I totally agree. I think it would be the best thing for the feud.
The only thing I can think of is, and this might be a little bit too creative for them, is a no finish at this show, and then you have them team up. The four horsewomen against the four horsewomen, and you have Becky cost them that match, and then you can continue the feud on from there. You kind of forget it for a little bit while this whole Survivor Series is going on. I don't want to see
cheered
Becky
too much
lose.
for her to turn. She can't. But here's the thing: if she's going heel, she has to lose. The heel's got to lose, and she's going heel, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why would you do that to her right now? Because she's so over.
I mean, they're gonna do the same thing to Braun.
Yeah,
And
you're
he's
probably right
supposed to
about
be a
that.
heel.
Well, technically, he's supposed to. Well, I don't know what he was a babyface and he's a heel now. I don't know what he's supposed to be anymore.
You had Kevin Owens fucking almost kill himself jumping off a Hell in a Cell to try to get Braun Strowman over as a babyface, and then you turn him heel.
I don't get it.
Anyway, so then Charlotte defeated Sonya Deville via submission. Sonya Deville has we have a Sonya Deville sighting, by the way. Pretty shocking. I thought her and Mandy Rose were more famous for their donut eating YouTube channel than they were for their work on SmackDown right now.
What?
Yes,
What the hell?
they have a
Watching?
new
What are you
Smack.
watching?
It was on Mandy Rose's Instagram. Okay, she posted.
Are
She
you
has a
watching
new.
her, eating cream donuts or something. I don't know. What are you doing?
Anyways,
You
I'm
Googled-
not.
you Googled
This
some
is
weird
not
shit.
like this is not fake. This is legit. But either way, Charlotte Flair defeated Sonya Deville, and then Becky Lynch attacked Charlotte as she was taking a selfie with a fan, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
She was hot.
it's
She was
new, I guess.
gorgeous.
Like we haven't
just
seen
really-
that before.
I just don't have much to say about this because I don't agree. I think Becky's so over, and I just don't agree with the seal thing. I don't know.
I mean, they're cheering her as she's beating the shit out of Charlotte.
Yeah, like she's literally beating the living shit out of Charlotte.
They
and
chanted,
they're just
"You deserve it," to Charlotte as she was getting her ass kicked.
like, oh my god.
If that doesn't tell you that they have the wrong people in the spots, then I don't know what does. there wasn't
but
really
Black-
anything else to really talk about that was good on SmackDown. I mean,
Are
Ty,
you not gonna talk about black hair, Becky? Jesus. That's
so
ah.
She's great. But okay, I got a rant on this for a second. It was about that tag match, and it wasn't even in the match.
okay, hang on. Let
Go
me
ahead.
quickly jump through. We had the Asuka and Naomi backstage interview. Nobody cares. They're
No.
becoming a new tag team or whatever.
Did
They
Asuka say she
completely
didn't
ruined
understand someone
Asuka.
else?
Asuka
Yeah, she did.
Asuka's irrelevant to me now. She's fucked. She's done. We had Cien Almas defeating R-Truth, and I guess I don't know if Carmella is a babyface now, but she's coming out with R-Truth. I know they're teaming in the Mixed Match Challenge, but Almas getting the win over R-Truth, I mean, I'm okay with it. It is what it is. Okay match, I guess. To me, that builds R-Truth up more, that he's facing a guy like Almas than it does helping Almas. You know what I mean?
Dude, I don't know about you guys, but I'll take an R-Truth push any day.
I mean, I'll
would
take it
too.
too, but I like
Dude,
that's
that
why
guy
I
can go
liked
in the
it.
ring.
I like
I've
the
been
fact
telling
that
those
R-Truth
guys,
is getting
he's a
he's getting these matches against good quality guys, but then again, what do you do with Almas from here?
I don't know, but regardless, R-Truth should be a top mid-level guy. He's awesome.
He has IC guy written all over him.
All over.
And he's so entertaining. Like, yeah, he can joke around, but he can also wrestle. But he's funny. Like, he's just a generally funny guy. You
He's
always
just-
laugh at his stuff all the
I'm
time.
telling you right now, if R-Truth was in the Attitude Era, he'd have been over as shit.
No, I've always said it. R-Truth should have been the next Booker T.
Yep.
Easily the next Booker T.
And could have probably been better than Booker T, honestly, because he has a better personality than Booker. Booker's kind of boring.
Yeah, and he was better in the ring.
Yeah.
All right, Ty, you can go ahead with this Rusev Day
Okay.
defeating the Bar
Okay.
tag team match.
Okay. I'm sorry. I love tag team wrestling, as everybody knows. It's one of my favorite forms of wrestling. And all they're doing is taking a shit out. Big E was really making pancakes on the fucking side, wasn't he? He was making pancakes. He was making pancakes during a match. I had to walk away. I had to go smoke a cigarette. I'm like, I can't believe that this is what we've come to with wrestling. This is what we've come to. We've come to making pancakes on the freaking commentator's booth while we're trying to have matches, while we're trying to be freaking serious and do things here. It just makes New Day look so stupid. They just look so damn stupid.
Now they look stupid. They have
No,
fucking
they've always
unicorn
okay.
heads
They've
on
looked
it.
stupid for the last 2 years, but I'm saying like, this is like the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Like this whole pancake thing. I mean, ever since this thing started, it's just super annoying, super overdrawn and blown, and
Again,
it's just annoying.
I agree, but I have a 4-year-old little girl, and as soon as the New Day's music hits, what does she say? Here come the pancakes, guys. It works. They're
Well, for
selling
kids,
merch.
yeah.
It's for it is what it is. You know, it's one of her favorite groups. She loves it. Like, I get it. And as much as it is stupid, I get it.
And for a kid's standpoint, and from there, in the marketing, I get the business side of it because they sell a ton of merch, but man, from a wrestling purist, it's getting to just be overblown.
Yeah, I get it. Both sides, I get it. This is really dumb, but seeing my little girl, and then I remember liking Doink, and I remember liking Dink. You know, like it's just dumb stuff. You know?
Like, they have to have some stuff for the kids. I get that.
You know what I mean?
We are catering to a large demographic from kids to, middle-aged adults to seniors at some points. But
I know it's just, I mean, you can go with the pancake thing, but do we really have to be sitting there making them and making such a fuss about all of it?
I
mean,
agree.
you can do it in a way that it's funny, and it can even be stupid funny, and you can still be credible with it and not look.
Like, to me,
Yes,
R-Truth funny. He's funny, but he keeps it somewhat believable with what he does.
Right. And New Day in the ring is very believable. I'm not sitting here saying that they're not. I mean, New Day is they're all three pretty damn good wrestlers.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have to put them in the top 5 right now. They're good.
Because the tag division's terrible right now. So yeah.
I mean, when it comes, they're good. They're not bad.
No.
they're good.
So we had Rusev Day defeating the Bar, and they will challenge the New Day for the tag team titles at Hell in a Cell. So Rusev Day getting, I don't know if this is a one pay-per-view push or what, but I assume the only thing coming from this is Aiden English is going to end up like turning on Rusev, or he's going to cost them the match. That's what I think.
Yeah, Aiden English should go back to teaming with Simon Grimm on the Indies, and Rusev should be a single, is what really should be happening.
And then the only other thing to talk about on SmackDown was the Jeff Hardy and Nakamura thing, the disqualification. And it's like they're including Nakamura, but he's the champion, but like he's not the focal point of this feud. It's Hardy and Randy Orton. Brian, what do you think about this?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I didn't say anything.
No, I was going to let you go first on this one.
Oh, well, no speaker English, so I don't really care about this Nakamura. I mean, he's literally a placeholder right now. They give him the belt just to here you go. Here's the belt. Go get bit by some dogs or go play with some puppies or something.
Get bit by. And as much
as far as Orton and Hardy go, I mean, possibly match of the night. I mean, these two guys, Orton, yes, he gets called boring, et cetera, but he wants to go, he'll go. And I think with someone like Jeff,
when he's motivated,
yeah, and he has to respect the guy he's working with, and who doesn't respect Jeff Hardy. I think maybe match of the night. Jeff's flying off of that damn cage, so why not?
And I agree that this match should be in Hell in a Cell. Ty, I think you were telling me the other day how you said, like, for two guys like Hardy and Orton to have a feud like this is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, 20 years later. Come on, guys. Like, this is the way they're gonna write off Jeff for a while. I know he's has some nagging injuries, so you have Orton win. But then, do we go Orton Nakamura after this?
Oh, Ty, I think, is Ty still here? I think he got disconnected.
Oh, I think he did the Jeff Hardy jump off the hell and he's out of here.
Or he turned his mic off.
I don't know. I think he's off because I don't see him in the. Oh yeah, no, he is on. No. Is
he in there still?
No, he's not.
Oh, there you are. Now you're back. Okay.
I was gonna say I was talking and nobody was answering. I was like, okay.
Okay.
No sold.
No, I think this feud is actually really good for two guys that aren't necessarily the greatest at building feuds nowadays. It's really, really impressive what they're doing. And to me, Orton actually probably could be not like Jeff Hardy because he kind of is a spot monkey, and Orton is not. So it's an interesting feud to me. And like you said, I do believe it needs to be in Hell in a Cell. I think that's the good thing for it. I think gimmick matches are good without titles involved, just because it gives it a little more intrigue. And I think you could do it both ways, but I think this is
especially with the way this one's been built.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good way to go. It keeps Nakamura out of the cage too, so I'm really cool with it.
I love the work Randy Orton's been doing, and I can't believe I'm saying that, but since his heel turn, he has been fantastic. Like
he really has been.
This has been the best Orton work I've seen in a long time,
Since
like
Legend Killer
years.
days.
Yeah, like pretty bad. Or even like Psycho Orton, like 09, but like even that was PG era crap. But like this right now is coming out and saying that he's going to take down all the people that you cheer for over me and things like that, your heroes, and like that's the shit I like from Randy Orton. That's the kind of stuff that gets me saying this guy is legit. This guy's a psychopath. He's taking down all the baby faces and taking down Jeff Hardy, who's a bigger babyface takedown than Jeff Hardy, right?
Yeah, and I like the fact that they're going with Legend Killer 2.0, but just updating it to fan favorites.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's take out Legends and let's put in fan favorites.
Which
Easy.
is good. That's the way they should go, and he should go after Nakamura next because he is a fan favorite. He's an indie, or a New Japan darling, and I think it would be a good feud if they'd have to kind of move Nakamura back towards the babyface side of things. But I don't think. But with Nakamura, that's not that hard because he can't cut a promo. So.
And what's so good about this is you can literally build this Randy Orton to take on AJ Styles.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
'Cause he's everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to take on AJ Styles? You can ride this to the top with Orton, again.
Yeah, I mean that could be a WrestleMania match, AJ and Orton. I mean,
as much as
pretty
people
good.
say Orton sucks, he can go, and an AJ versus Orton match,
And I
I'm buying
think at
that.
WrestleMania, I think Orton would be a little more up than his normal. I mean, I don't blame him at this point in Randy's career. I mean, I don't necessarily blame him a whole lot for not wanting to try as hard. But I think with that, he would put in a little more effort than
that match
normally.
he had with Seth Rollins. I think what was that 31? That was a good match.
Yeah.
The one against Bray Wyatt. We're not going to talk about that. That was trash.
That was awful.
But Orton, when he wants to and is motivated, he can put on a good feud and a good match. And to me, I'm just going to say that I don't know how you can stop Randy Orton's momentum. Like, I don't know how you can halt him right now when he's doing some of the best work he's ever done. How can you halt this guy from not going up to at least a main event, title match against a guy like AJ Styles?
For sure. And what I was going to say before that, going back to what we were talking about, was that that's Randy's thing against him his whole career is he has so much talent, and he doesn't even realize how much talent he has. That all he has to do is put in a little effort, and he's as good as everybody else. If he would put in even more, he would be top of the guys ever, history, whatever. But that's been Randy's knock ever since he was been trained in OVW. So I mean, it's not surprising that he still does it to this day. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, a phoned-in Orton match is still better than a lot of the top matches on the card.
Besides the Styles and Joe, this is probably the second best thing on SmackDown right now, or even probably I'd say both shows, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
As far as the main roster shows go.
That and Joe and AJ.
Yeah, that's what I said. After that, this is the second.
I'm sorry.
This is second to that, yeah. And
I
guess
for sure.
My rating for SmackDown this week, I don't know, I guess I'll give it a 2 out of 5, 2.5, somewhere around there.
Oh, we're doing it out of 5? I thought we were doing it out of 10.
No.
No wonder I gave Raw such a better rating.
What are you going to give it, Brian? Or Ty? You go first.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and... you know what? It was a 2. I'll give this one a 2. I think it was a good show. Or a decent show. It could have been better.
I don't think it was as good as the last 3 weeks, but it was okay.
No.
If I gave Raw 1.5, I'm giving SmackDown a solid 2.5, just because of that extra effort and that willingness to try something. And if it fails, it fails, and if it hits, just like the Joe segment, it hits, it works.
Can't believe we're all agreeing right now. This is a rare occurrence. I don't know if this is going to happen every week.
Well, fuck you and Byron.
Before we get on to our next segment, I'm going to quickly plug our sponsor. So we're going to give our shout-out to the No Holds Barred network sponsor, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. They specialize in WWE and MMA apparel with over 10,000 products in stock right now. From t-shirts to sweaters to muscle shirts, even Halloween costumes. So you can get your Nakamura dog costume on there maybe. I'm not sure. But anyways, you're not going to want to miss checking out this website. Go check them out at ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. As a special bonus, you can use the code NOHOLDS at checkout, and you will save 10% on your order. Perfect 10 means 10% off your order when using code NOHOLDS on checkout, pun intended. So go check them out. It's the special sponsor of the No Holds Barred Network, ExtremeWrestlingShirts.com. Free shipping as well. And I think it's like free shipping to the UK if you spend or buy like 3 shirts or something like that. But either way, go check them out. Really cool. Extreme Wrestling Shirts.
They're making costumes. Just a little business insider. If you want to scare the shit out of everyone, Shayna Baszler mask.
Oh my God! All right,
part my girl here, or my it here.
My it. Speaking of it, Ty? Do you want to do the history segment?
Sure.
All right.
Why not?
Well, we have an intro theme for it. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So this day in wrestling history is going to be
this week.
And this week in wrestling history, I'm going to give it over to my co-host here, Tyler Jones. Take it away.
All right, class, everybody take your seats. We're going to do a little history lesson here for you guys each week. And the way I'm going to kind of formulate it out is we're going to go from Monday through Sunday of that week. And I'm just kind of going and doing some different things. I mean, obviously I threw some comedic relief in there for everybody, but So the first day, September 10th, going all the way back to 1968. This was just really interesting to me when I looked it up. I even kind of read about the match from people that were there or whatever reviews they put in the newspaper articles. The Spoiler and Gary Hart, that Gary Hart, won the NWA tag titles for the third time against Fritz Von Erich, who was the patriarch of the Von Erich family in Texas, and Grizzly Smith, that is Jake the Snake's dad, who they had a very, very terrible relationship. But I just thought that was a really, really interesting thing for all the way back to 1968. And you got to think Gary Hart, that was even before he was doing any kind of managing or anything like that. I don't know who the hell the Spoiler is, but it's a pretty good little name.
I didn't know Jake's father wrestled. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, back in the day, that's how Jake got into it, I think, essentially, because he was a wrestler, and then he became a promoter and basically an agent. I don't think they called it that back then, but essentially that's kind of what he was for a few years. 9/11.
Well, Brian, what were you going to say about that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just thought his dad was that big-ass snake from the Jungle Book, but I guess not.
Wow, cut him down. All right, so on September 11th, obviously, we all know what happened on that day in America, so I'm not even going to talk about that, because that's sad. So in 1965, the genius himself, Paul Heyman, was evacuated from the womb and was created into this world. Very interesting there. In 1967.
The birth date of the great Paul Heyman. 1966. Holy crap.
65.
Jeez, he's that old?
Yeah, I didn't think that either. He looks very young for his very slimming young.
Yeah, he looks slim. He's on the gender diet.
Hey.
1967. This was really cool. Gorilla Monsoon, and he did wrestle before he was other things. And Bruno Sammartino fought to a draw in the WWF. I believe that was on a house show, I believe it was, but I just thought that was really cool that Gorilla Monsoon and Bruno were going at it. 1995. These are all the same day until.
So hang on, sorry. Before and that last fact, was Gorilla Monsoon jobbing to Bruno?
Technically, there was no jobbing. They fought to a draw.
Oh, interesting.
So therefore, neither of them did it. So I want to say at this point, Bruno wasn't necessarily top guy in '67. Could have been. I'm not sure. 100% remember on that one. So then we're gonna jump all the way because from 1967 to 95. And speaking of the Monday Night Wars, this was officially 9/11/1995. Officially, the Monday Night Wars began with WCW winning the ratings 2.5 to 2.2.
Ooh, was this the start of the documentary series on the WWE Network?
I don't. Technically, I think they started it different, but this was the time. This was when they ran head to head.
All right.
I want to say that technically the WCW and they were going at each other for a while, but this was when they decided to go at each other on the same night. This was when WCW said we're going to go to Monday night.
So at the beginning of the Monday Night Wars, WCW was at a 2.0, correct?
2.5.
2.5. And now, people are trying to say wrestling is better than ever, and Raw's doing 2.7s.
Yep.
With no other competition doing 2.5.
Yeah.
I think TNA in their prime was doing like 2.2, 2.3. We're getting close to TNA numbers, people.
Oh, I think NXT might be doing 10,000. You know, you got to give them credit for that.
Oh yeah. Don't forget they sold out. The Indies sold out 10,000 seats in a year. That's alrighty.
Yeah, we're doing real big things. No, and you know what? Breaking off and going on to that one for a second. You know that was a big deal, but it's not as big a deal as what everybody thinks it is. And when they start doing it every other month or every 3 months, you know, hey,
or when they tour 4 days a week like WWE, go into the hick towns of the United States, then I'll start to get impressed.
The dumbest thing I heard was, this is equivalent to WrestleMania 1.
No, not even close.
No, WrestleMania 1 is what set the foundation for the WWE to become what it is. All In isn't setting up a foundation for any company.
No.
All In did was make the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes look good. and they're not a federation. They're not. You can't walk out of All In and say, "Man, I'm gonna start watching insert company here."
Yep.
Because if you watched All In, you don't. Let's just say you're just a regular person that said, "I want to watch All In." You don't know about Ring of Honor. You don't know about Lucha Underground. You don't know about New Japan. The normal average Joe, when WrestleMania 1 happened, they said, "Oh, this is WrestleMania. Who put on WrestleMania? WWE. I'm gonna watch WWE." Who put on All In? Who knows?
Technically, I guess Sinclair Broadcasting put on All In, which would be ROH.
ROH, but nobody knows that. We know that.
Nobody knows that. Yeah.
But nobody knows.
All right, Ty, continue with your next fact there.
All right, so in '97, this is just because I love him so much. Tracy Smothers wins the IWA Mid-South Heavyweight title.
Oh my God!
I love Tracy Smothers. He is one of the greatest workers, one of the greatest gimmicks for the South ever created. Dusty Rhodes came up with his gimmick, so I mean it's obvious genius. So 9/11/2005, actually, this was a really interesting fact to me. This was TNA Unbreakable, their pay-per-view. This was the night that they had. To this day, they call this the best match in company history. It was Joe versus AJ versus Christopher Daniels in a triple threat. And I went back and watched some of that, and it was pretty incredible. It was for the X Division title as well. So AJ came out victorious in that one, but very, very good match. TNA, I don't know how they didn't do better back then. They had a stacked roster. I mean, WWE's basically got their talent right now, and
and if only they could have gotten Styles and Joe in their prime too. I mean, Styles can still go, but Joe especially, guy was incredible. Yeah. But that sounds like a hell of a match to me. I'm definitely gonna have to go back and watch that match.
Yeah, something everybody should go check that out on YouTube. Talk about your 5-star matches and all this other crap. That's an actual legit really good match. On the September 12th, this is a little bit sadder, but it started the chain events of the curse of the Von Erichs. Chris Von Erich, the youngest in the clan there, committed suicide. He was the curly-haired one and was the youngest and was kind of smaller, but really what they said was probably one of the better workers of all the Von Erichs. Just didn't really have a chance to show it because he was so young when he decided to kill himself.
Didn't the Von Erichs have a lot of issues? Didn't most of them have some kind of issue?
All of them are now dead, and technically all of them committed suicide and are all dead except for
Kerry, I believe, still alive.
Kerry Von Erich. Yep. Kerry lives in Honolulu, Hawaii, and he's got as far away from wrestling as he possibly could.
Didn't one of them have like a fake leg or something like that?
I believe that was Fritz. That was their father.
Oh, okay.
What year was that? Because I'm sorry, you didn't say the year of that one.
Of course I didn't write that one down.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah, I want to say it was in the 70s, though, because that was, I want to say, when everything started to go down with the Von Erichs, and they were starting to get really popular, and then, like I said, the chain events, the curse of that family, just crazy.
For such a good wrestling family.
Yeah, really. So then we moved to, there wasn't, I worked my ass off to try to find some stuff for this, and there just wasn't a whole lot for this week in wrestling history, apparently. This was huge, though. On 9/15 of 1995, the day that Eric Bischoff will never forget, the day he sent that FedEx letter to Stone Cold Steve Austin, his fire letter, and told Steve to hit the books.
Ooh, that's a big deal right there.
Yep. So basically, Steve left from there, went to ECW for a while, cut promos, learned how to be a good promo from Paul Heyman, and then took it all, went to WWE, and made Vince a billionaire.
Yep, and then became the man we all know as Fang McFrost.
Oh, God.
For any of you that don't know out there, they were pitching names to Stone Cold Steve Austin before he came up with the name. And Stone Cold remembers one name that they printed off for him on this page of some of the most suck-ass names he's ever heard in his life, according to him. And one of them was Fang McFrost. Can you imagine Fang McFrost Steve Austin coming out? Being the guy that he was.
It's even funnier because obviously I listen to a ton of Jim Cornette podcasts, and he worked for Vince and was basically it was him, Vince, and either in the few years that Vince was, that Jim was there, it was either Russo or it was Bruce Pritchard that was there. And he said that he would always give Vince the name test, and he said you got to Stone Cold Steve Austin, versus The Undertaker for the WWE heavyweight title. You know, that passes the name test. And he was like, you know, you put these crap garbage gimmick names in there like Bang McFrost. You know, that's not a name that you want to see win your freaking title and represent your company. Also on the 15th of September in 1996, WCW presented War Games for the first time, NWO versus WCW.
Interesting.
I believe that was... No, I'm thinking of the Four Horsemen one is the one where Mr. Perfect turned. This was the one where Sting turned, I believe. Yes, it is. In 9/16 of 2006, Ring of Honor debuted on television for the first time.
Oh, there you go for you indie darlings out there.
Yeah, and actually, to me, Ring of Honor, because they technically, if you want to get real, Sinclair Broadcasting has more money than Vince does. So if they really wanted to put a thing against Vince, ROH is going to be your closest guys. So that's going to be one to look out for, I think, in the next few years, to be honest with you.
Well, indie wrestling has never been as big as it is right now since the territory days.
Right. Well, you can't really say back in the... You can't compare to me because the territories were everybody...
They weren't really indies, but...
It wasn't independence. They all worked together, kind of.
And how big can indie wrestling be if no one's watching mainstream wrestling?
Exactly. It's just it's a revolving cycle. And then this is the coolest thing that I found all week. Coolest thing I've read all week, probably in a month. On the 17th of September in 1981, the man we all know and love, Ric Flair, wins the first of his 16 titles over Dusty Rhodes in Kansas City, Missouri.
Now that's a stat.
Unbelievable. I couldn't believe that when I saw that.
1981 was the first time he won a title?
1981. Technically, he won a title in another territory, but they didn't classify that as a WWE or a IWA title at the time. Yeah.
Okay, so
they won't classify that in the amount of titles he's won.
I think Flair's technically won something like 30 or 40 titles, something crazy like that. Yeah.
See, like, when was his last world title reign? Like 1996?
No, didn't he win?
No. He had
Evolution or something?
I think he had one in WWE at the time.
No, but not a world title. He never had the world title in his comeback run. Never.
Really?
Nope.
Okay.
I think it was like I don't know, like maybe
he had a match against Triple H, but he didn't win it.
You know what? I'm thinking that I thought he beat Triple H in that match for some reason, or it was like a disqualification that he won, or something like that. I forgot, but for some reason I thought that. But no, it must have been at the end of WCW, towards the end, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, so then he won 16 titles between 1981 and 1995, we'll say.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible, but I guess Charlotte's got him beat because she's got half of that in about 3 years. So,
and that is your lesson for today, class. Y'all, you little gremlins out there, you get a little bit of lesson here, and you don't have to sit there in a class for 8 hours for it.
Here you go. There's your Week in Wrestling History segment posted by our one and only natural born heel Tyler Jones. Thank you for your insight as always to throwback wrestling.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And now, with that, we're going to get into the last segment of the show for what will be on the show every week. That is the list of 10.
10.
You know what? You know what happens? You know what's gonna happen? You just made the list!
That's right. Welcome to the list of 10. Bringing back that glorious theme song. Thank you, Kyle, for sending that over to me. Love that theme. So, for this segment, we're going to go over one moment that makes the list as far as how garbage it was this week, and one moment that is our perfect 10 for something that we really loved. And we'll start off with Bryan, the main event Maharaja, for this segment.
All right, so making the list for me this week is both of you jabrones. This is the main event Maharaja. This is the main event show, and I don't get a segment on the show. One guy gets to talk about history from 1903. The other guy gets to host the whole show, and I'm just sitting here, just minding my own business. So for that, both you jabrones make the list.
You know what? You just made the list.
Well, I guess we do make the list. Well, Bryan, you want to come up with a segment? You're more than welcome to for next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a segment. It's gonna be, why does Kyle hate WWE? It's gonna be three facts of the week of why Kyle hates WWE.
You see, that's factually incorrect because he loves WWE since it owns
it's all
NXT.
he talks about. It's all he talks about. So how much he hates it? He's gotta love it.
And I find it funny because he was giving you love in the chat, Bryan, and then now that's just gonna go be thrown out the window now.
Yeah, so that's gonna be my segment. My top. You know what? I'm gonna have my top 3 Kyle hates WWE tweets of the week every week.
Oh my God,
That's
I
gonna
love
be
this
it.
segment. I love
gonna
it
be
already.
Or Byron, whatever your name is, says Kyle, after he was just giving Bryan praise about how he wants him back on the other show.
Oh, great.
So Taya, what's your moment? Your list moment.
My list moment this week. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Big E making pancakes. That was garbage.
Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Nope.
You know what? You just made the list.
There you go. Well, Jericho said it for you there, so that's all you need to know.
Yeah, I don't have to say it anymore. You guys always make me say it, so Jericho can take over.
My list moment this week, God, there's so much to choose from Monday Night Raw. I'm just going to give it to the Bobby Roode and Chad Gable tag team. I just don't see how this is going to work out at all. Like, I understand if they're going to do the whole Bobby Roode heel turn from it. But again, who the hell, nobody even cheers for Chad Gable. So who the hell is going to care that Bobby Roode turns heel on him? Nobody's going to care. I just don't understand why they're putting these guys together. I agree Chad Gable needs to be put in a tag team. But maybe with somebody else, not a guy that should be a mid or top tier level, wrestler like Bobby Roode. I just can't get behind it at all. That's all I can say about it. And for that whole tag team and the match this week against the Ascension.
You know what? You just made the list.
I'm sorry, Bobby. I had to do it. You're on the list this week. So, Bryan, what is your perfect 10 moment, or unless you have another list moment to give out?
No, perfect 10, and I think we might sweep this one, is Samoa Joe and Night AJ Styles.
So Samoa Joe and AJ Styles get Bryan's perfect this week. So there you go. I mean, I can't argue with that. It's been such a good build up, and that was actually something good for once on a go home show. You don't usually see something like that on a go home show that actually gets you invested for the match.
Yeah, and let's see. So hard to think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the same thing.
Yes, sweep it.
All right, so ties
goes to Joe. 10 yet was the best thing.
There you go. Perfect 10 to Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. My perfect 10 this week is going to go to... there's so many good and bad things to choose from.
Come on.
You know what? Just since we're all spreading the love today, Styles and Joe get my perfect 10. There you go.
It really is a perfect 10.
It was a perfect sweep. That's what it was, because it was just so good. Like, how can you argue with what these guys are doing right now? I mean, if it's good, it's good. You can't argue with it. But it'll all be down from here. I'm sure we'll disagree on the weeks to come.
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure Kyle will disagree with every single thing. I think this might be our last show on the network, guys.
Well, it's been a good run, boys. Time to go.
Yeah. Kyle says, so many list moments, but I hate WWE so much, he says with a wink face.
Oh, no. I'm going to think of a name for that Twitter segment next week, and it's coming.
Well, I don't even think we should acknowledge the B show. I mean, if we're the A talent, why do we even need to acknowledge the B talent?
That's what WCW did. They acknowledged talent over there. Let's not do that. Let's be the Vince.
Like, we can make fun of the WWE. We can talk crap how it sucks, but when something's good, it's good. When something's bad, it's bad. But at the same time, I'm not gonna say New Japan sucks, blah blah blah. Just if I don't like it, I'm not watching it.
Or Lucha Underground.
Another thing is I'm not going out of my way to try to watch indie wrestling or any other form. I can watch this like on my television right now. It's not hard.
I mean, I love indie wrestling. I'm lucky enough. I live in LA. We have indie wrestling shows freaking twice a week.
Right.
But I'm not gonna sit here and say it sucks or like just because I don't like something. It's just I don't
It's not
like
your
it.
cup
I'm
of
not
tea.
I'm not gonna.
I think
yeah,
there is ups and downs from both mainstream and independent wrestling. I mean, it's just the way it goes. Everything's gonna have its ups and downs.
The way I go about, defending what I say is that if somebody was bashing NXT that much, I would defend NXT. But nobody bashes NXT, so I can't defend it. Everybody bashes the main roster, and there's always something good to go from it. As much as there's a lot of things that make us not even want to watch it most weeks, there's still some good stuff on there, and you got to give credit where credit's due. And if NXT was getting shit all over, I'd be defending it too. But it's not getting shit all over.
And if I didn't like NXT, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, NXT sucks. NXT's doing this. WWE does this better. It's like, no, I don't like it, so I'm not gonna watch it.
You're not wrong if you're saying Raw is bad, Kyle. You don't. Raw has been bad. I mean, we're not hitting.
We literally talked for 40 minutes about how it was bad.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna sit here and bash something I don't like, and keep talking about it for an hour. Like, if I don't like it, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna talk about it. But
there was good stuff. There was a few bright spots to talk about Raw. Not many.
And you know what? Maybe we went along with our reviews this week, and maybe we said we weren't gonna bash. We probably bashed a little more than we probably should have. But we're passionate about this, and we're gonna try to work on that to be a little more positive.
But there was really no positives on Raw this week besides like two things.
There wasn't. But yeah. No,
but at the same time, we're not bashing anybody else.
It's true.
We're not. I'm
Kyle.
I know. You know what, Brian? I got your segment for next week. You're gonna give away NXT results on this show.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Look at this NXT. Look at this finest guy. Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, the finest.
Well, boys, you know what? Bro, we were actually talking about it before we got on here. Why don't we do our predictions? Why don't you take this over, Brian? Why don't you take over here?
We'll extend the show a little bit. We'll try to get this done in the next 10-15 minutes.
Special opening episode, and we gotta.
I don't need, what is the Hell in the Cell card? I'm not. I'll be at the Rams game, you guys. So.
Oh, see ya. All right, boys. Well, that's it.
Well, that was it.
Good night.
I mean, here we go. Hell in a Cell predictions. Roman wins. That's it, guys.
Shield wins everything.
Shield wins all the belts. Shield destroys Ronda Rousey, takes the women's championship.
Kyle is asking us to be fair when he criticizes Raw, and don't knock me for it.
Who's
That's not very fair.
Yeah, you're not fair, Kyle. Raw sucks. Raw sucks. Raw sucks. Okay.
All right. Well, Cupid Girl agrees. Finest my ever-loving ass. I love it because Kona Reeves sucks. Okay. Hell in a Cell predictions, Brian. Jump into it.
Hell in a Cell predictions. All right. So are we gonna take point? Are we taking score here? What are we doing?
I'll write it down.
Week?
I'll write it down.
All right. You're gonna write it down.
Yeah, I'll write it down.
All right. Point system. 1 point, I guess.
Yep.
All right, so let's check this out. Hell in a Cell card. Is everything official, or are they still adding stuff? I don't know what's.
Just pick the damn match. Just somebody start the damn match.
All right, let's go with the tag team title match. Raw tag team titles. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre versus Rollins and Ambrose. Who do you guys got?
Cappy.
I'm gonna go with probably Rollins and Ambrose just for the fact that this whole Roman Reigns thing. I'm gonna pick Ambrose and Rollins because the Shield has to have every title on Raw, or else, it's not a good show.
I'm riding with the heels, and I'm going with my boys Dolph and Drew, the D&D.
Must be nice to be wrong, Tyler. I'm going with the Shield taking all the belts, so I'm going Rollins and Ambrose.
Okay, good.
I just think it's too soon for them to take all the belts. I think they're going to build up to take all the belts. That's the build-up WWE wants.
And I guess it would make sense for Ziggler and McIntyre to at least retain once.
Well, they don't make sense about belts, so who cares? But
okay, so I'm picking Rollins and Ambrose. So it was Bryan, and Ty's going with Ziggler and McIntyre.
See.
All right, so we got the SmackDown Tag Team titles. The New Day versus Rusev Day in the Battle of the Days. What day is it officially going to be at Hell in a Cell?
New Day.
I have to sadly agree with New Day. I just think that Aiden English is going to cost them the match.
And I think we're going for the sweep. I'm going for New Day. Rusev Day doesn't really need the belts. And the only thing is, where does New Day go with the belt?
Well, Rusev needs a belt.
Well, yeah.
Aiden English needs to hit the unemployment line. I'm sorry, he's just not credible at all in my eyes. Hit a tanning bed, bro. Get some muscle tone.
Aiden English is hitting Eddie Guerrero's wife, or a daughter, so he wins on that one.
What?
Yeah.
You guys didn't know that?
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. He's married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter.
Yep. That's why he's employed.
Oh my gosh, I got something to go look at after this.
All right, so
she's not bad looking.
So clean sweep with the New Day.
Yes. All right, next, Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss.
Oh my God.
Oh. Well, Rousey.
What's a bigger lock of the night, Rousey or Roman winning?
I'm gonna go Rousey for sure. I'll put all my money on her.
All right. Well.
All right.
Well, no. Screw the haters. I'm going with Bliss.
What? Wow.
That is the biggest homer pick of all time. That is no relevance to anything we just talked about. Straight homer pick Bliss, even though I'm probably not going to watch it because she's going to get squashed again. So there you go.
You know what? Since you called yourself homer, I'm going to give you a big no.
Thank you.
All right. It's a Michael Chow comedy there. Anyway, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. Cappy?
Oh, I could make a point for both of these guys winning because obviously AJ just being, quote unquote, the best wrestler in the world today, holding the belt. I mean, AJ is the best guy, so he should be holding the belt. But Joe's been doing such great work, and it's a shame that Joe has not held the title on the main roster yet, since they've kind of fucked him in that way. I would love to see Joe with the world title, but I kind of see Styles going on here and maybe facing like Randy Orton or somebody like that coming in after this pay-per-view. I guess that would probably be my prediction. So I'm just going to stick with Styles, although I'd be completely okay with Joe winning because they've both been great.
I am going to say that Joe wins this one. And the reason I say that is because I think they're going to continue this for a couple more months probably. So I see AJ winning it back before the feud ends.
And I'm going with Styles just because, both of these guys, like you guys said, are great picks to be your champion. But you guys are forgetting, video game comes out next week with AJ Styles as your champion on the cover. So they're going to want Styles to go to all the video game stores with that belt, sell a couple video games. So I'm going with AJ Styles.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. It's a WWE thing to do, right?
Oh yeah, no,
they want him. They want him going to Super Showdown as the WWE champion and appearing on Evolution too. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, SmackDown Women's Championship. Jabron Ty, I'm hitting. Hold on, I'm breaking up here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
There we go. Yeah,
all
now I
right,
can.
there we go. Cool. All right, sorry. So Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch, guys.
Ty, go ahead.
I know what I want to see, but I'm gonna go with. I think Charlotte wins, even though I think it should be Becky winning on a double turn, but I think Charlotte probably retains for right now. I think they're gonna miss the boat.
I'm gonna have to pick Charlotte too because I think they want her as the champion going into Evolution.
That as well.
That's basically the only. That's my WWE explanation for why she's gonna have the title.
All right, and I'm going with the wild card. I'm going Becky Lynch just because they can't. Nothing good comes out of Becky Lynch losing this match. She has to win. I don't care if she holds it for a month or two. She can lose it on SmackDown, but if she loses, this does nothing for both of them. So I'm going Becky Lynch.
I mean, I want Becky to win, but I'm just going with the corporate WWE creative pick here. I'm picking Charlotte because any match with Charlotte in it, you got to pick Charlotte. It's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. And her new breast too. So.
Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy inside Hell in a Cell.
Ooh. I'll go first on this one. I'm taking Orton.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm taking Orton because you cannot stop
Yeah.
the momentum that this guy has built the last month. He's doing amazing work. He's got to be the guy, in my opinion, to go up against Styles for the next. If their feud with Joe's over, to me, Orton's got to be the next contender for Styles.
All right.
I can't disagree with you there. I think that he's definitely winning it. Sorry, Randy. He's definitely winning it. I for the same points. I can't disagree with you on anything you said, to be honest with you.
All right. So you're taking score, right, Cappy?
Yeah, I've got it all
All
written
right. I'm
down.
gonna add a little wager to this one. So I'm going with Orton. I think Jeff's taking some time off after this, and a Hell in a Cell match is a great way to ride him off of TV for a while. So let's do a little wager here. We can bet the points. Let's just do how many matches is there? Up to 5 points. Does Jeff jump off the Hell in a Cell?
Yes.
I'm saying yes, and I'm putting 3 of my points on the line.
Ooh,
Oh.
3 points.
Now, okay. Does he have to jump off the top?
Off the top. No,
Off the
no
top.
halfway, all the way off the top.
Okay, yeah, he's gonna do it. I mean, like he's gonna do it. I'll bet 4.
Ooh.
4 points. And I will bet 0 that he does not.
Of course, Mr. Safe.
Because I'm not a
shocker
betting
there.
man.
What a shocker there.
All right, so 0, 4, and 3. Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella versus Miz and Maurice. I'll go first just because I could care less about this match. I'm going Miz and Maurice. I'm going Miz and Maurice just because I think I don't think they're gonna pay this off yet. I'm going Miz and Maurice.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the same thing. It's just not ready. They're not ready to end this yet, and you got to keep having the heels win until the baby faces finally break through, and that's what makes a great feud.
Yep, I'm picking Miz and Maurice too. I think Daniel Bryan and Brie are going to get the upper hand at Survivor Series somehow. But yeah, for now they're going to have to keep chasing the people that they can't beat. They can't get off their back, Miz and Maurice. So that's something we didn't touch on for SmackDown, but I don't think it was really worth talking about Brie Bella versus Maurice with Miz helping or trying to, like, he basically, like, shoved Brie Bella down, like, pulled her out of the ring and, like, pulled her off the apron. But I don't know. I don't know how, like, Ty, I don't know how you feel about these mixed tag matches going on, but
Well, mixed tag I have no problem with as long as it's not a dude and a chick fighting each other. But
yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm pretty okay with. Maurice sucks. She's never been a good wrestler, and she just had a kid. I can't believe they're letting her wrestle. And Miz, great character, wrestler, meh.
I don't know. Bree slapped him this week, and then they left looking strong. But to me, that means that Miz and Maurice are winning this Sunday.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same.
I'll add another wager to this one. Do any babies get kicked into the audience?
No, because that's not PG.
All right. The main event of the night:
Huh.
Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns with Mick Foley as your special guest referee.
Wow.
Jabron, Ty, you're first.
Well, Byron, I'm gonna go with. God, it would be like a dream of mine for Mick Foley to raise Braun Strowman's hand.
Oh yeah.
No, I think Roman's gonna win it. Although, I don't want to talk about it.
I'm gonna go next. They do it all for Roman on Monday Night Raw, and that's all I'm gonna go with. As much as I want Braun Strowman to win, and what is the point of bringing Mick Foley back but to try to get him to get Roman Reigns over as a babyface, but it's still not gonna work. So, but they're going to do it anyway, and Braun Strowman's going to fail cash in when he could have just cashed in 3 weeks ago when he had that whole heel turn thing. He had to give up his contract to Corbin earlier in the night. Made him look dumb. But, okay, we'll pick Roman.
All right, and it's pretty obvious this Roman isn't ending anytime soon. I'm going with Roman, but I'm going to add 2 wagers here to this one, mix it up a little bit. One, kind of an obvious one, but maybe not so much. Do the other 6 guys in this feud end up in the cage?
The other 4
points, and by the other 4, I'm sorry. Let's do up to 5 points on that one. I'm going with the obvious yes, and I'll do another 3 points.
In the cage? No.
In the cage.
In the cage? No. So I'm going to say no for 2 points.
So you're asking if I think that they're going to interfere and go inside the Hell in a Cell?
Inside the cage, yes.
I'll just say yes for the sake of it. And I'll wager 1 point.
One.
Wow, I
All
really
right.
thought that was the safety pick, and I was like, oh.
All right. And does anybody go through a announce table? It can be anyone in this
Oh,
match, or
Christ.
you know what? No, let's just do Strowman or Reigns through the announce table.
You go first on this one there, Byron.
You see, I don't know, because I think Jeff is gonna jump off the cage onto Orton on the announce table. So doing that spot twice. No, I'm going no. No with 1 point. Because I'm not that guy.
How many points did you put on the first one, Brian?
3.
Ooh. Okay.
Aren't you supposed to be taking score?
I am, but I just didn't write down how many points you took. I put no, but then I didn't put the points.
Wait. No. Oh, we talking about the
The first question you said was
the guys getting in the cage? No, they are gonna get in the cage.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yes.
There we go. But yes, 3 points.
Okay, and then no for the last
And
one.
no on the announce table with 1 point.
Okay, I'm gonna say no and 1 point for the second one too.
Okay, I don't think it's going to happen during the match, but I do think somebody will go through. Oh, wait, we said either Braun or Roman. Yeah, one of those two will definitely go through a table at the end of the night. End of the match. Once they're all feuding and battling out.
Okay, so not during the match though.
No, not during the match afterwards.
So are
2
we
points.
going announce table strictly?
I mean, if you want to get real, an
Tables
announce
too.
table could be any of the international announce tables too, so yeah, I'm cool with that.
Alright. So you're going with yes on the announce table.
Yes.
And Kyle says Roman spears everyone, kicks out of everyone's finisher twice.
Wouldn't shock me any.
Adam Cole wishes he could kick out of 2 spears by Roman. It'll never happen. Anyways, so there you go. There are Hell in a Cell predictions, hosted by Bryan. There's your hosted segment, Bryan.
Yeah, we're coming back stronger with next week's brand new segment. What does Kyle hate this week?
I'm gonna love this the A team over here, the A show. This is gonna be great.
It'll be fun times, boys.
We'll just have to see what they see. We're gonna have the luxury. We're gonna be going second most weeks. This week we're going first, so I can only imagine what they're gonna try to say tomorrow about their little.
Well, I'm
little
not really
NXT
worried
show.
about what Michael Chow has to say. I'm not sure he knows what fire is. Yeah, I don't know.
I love this. This is the feuds have started already, and we're already like a month and a half away from Survivor Series, so this is good. Yeah, Kyle. I'm not even
Never
gonna
heard
acknowledge that
of
last
this
comment.
Michael Chow guy. but-
So that was the first episode of the revamped Lowdown show. So thank you very much for tuning into the show tonight, guys. Sorry for kind of having it, not exactly the most organized, but first pilot episode. You got to give us some break on that. So this has been the Lowdown show. I'm your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host, I am the greatest host. I don't have to self-proclaim it. Corporate Cappy. You can follow me on Twitter at Cappy Collects. You can also follow my co-host Tyler Jones at TylerJones22 _22. Ty, is there anything you want to end with?
Nah. Good night, Gremlins.
They don't deserve it. And you can also follow my other co-host, Bryan, at HeelTurn21. Bryan, cue us out here.
All I gotta say is, in honor of Samoa Joe, night, Kyle Masters.
And we're always reminding you on the Lowdown Show to keep it on the Lowdown.
You're looking at the real deal now. Gonna kick this sorry ass out on the street.